Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our program, Ditch the Takeout Menu. My name is Helen Liu, and I'm the Programming and Partnerships Manager at Cary Library. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank the Cary Library Foundation. Their support enables us to bring programs like today's event to you. This program is being recorded and will be posted to the library's YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please enter them into the chat. I think there will be a recipe sent along when we send the link for the recording in our recap, and I will check with Shailini on that a little later. Now I'd like to introduce our guest. Shailini Sisodia was born in Kathmandu, Nepal, and with her father being a well-known UN diplomat, the family lived all over the world. Massachusetts, however, has now been her home for the past few decades. A lifelong educator, Shailini taught at both Boston University and Northeastern University earlier in her career. And while she really enjoyed that, she's currently living her true passion by teaching people how to cook food that is both delicious and nutritious. Toward that end, she teaches many different types of cuisines in her Boston area cooking classes, including in her own home, and most recently taught at Christopher Kimball's Milk Street Kitchen. Shailini is also the cooking teacher at Hayden Recreation Center, where her classes fill up within minutes. She is grateful to get rave reviews from all of her students ages 3 and up. She is a head chef at Lexeatogether here in town and does other food-related volunteer work as well. Shailini also taught a Zoom class, fun and fancy appetizers for the library, and has been featured in local media, including the Lexington Minuteman, Lexington Times, and a Facebook platform called Women Who Win Dreamcatchers. Welcome, Shailini. I'm so excited to get started.
Thank you, Helen, for that lovely introduction. I am so happy you're here for this fun and delicious class. Chicken Tikka Masala. This is one of the most popular dishes, right? Worldwide. I'll tell a little bit about the history. The history of Chicken Tikka Masala is a little murky. Some people think it started in Scotland, where a Bangladeshi was cooking a dish, chicken dish. The customer thought it was too dry, so he threw in cream and tomatoes, and the rest is history. But the grandmother, the grandmommy of this dish is butter chicken, which was invented at a restaurant in New Delhi, India, about in the 50s, at a restaurant, iconic restaurant called Moti Mahal. It still exists. Moti Mahal means palace of pearls, and that's where butter chicken was invented. So this is sort of like the grandbaby of butter chicken, chicken tikka masala. It really means chicken tikka masala. Tikka means small pieces, and masala means spice. So it's small pieces of spiced meat. That's what it means. It's become mainstream now, totally mainstream. I was watching an Uber Eats ad the other day, and the guy said, "Tonight I'm having chicken tikka masala with garlic naan." So it's become mainstream. You know, it's so popular. Robin Cook, who's the Labour Secretary in England, called it England's national dish. It's Saveur, the cooking magazine, has a whole podcast on the history of chicken tikka masala. If you're ever interested, I've taught this 4 times this week to the kids. I teach kids in Lexington. I taught them. I made it for a friend. I taught this in my house. I teach cooking classes in my house. Indian cooking class. I taught this yesterday. I'm teaching it now. Okay, so let's get started. Along the way, I'll tell you stories. I'll give you some health tips. If you have questions, you can certainly ask Helen, and she'll ask them to me. You can put them in the chat. So, as Helen said, I've taught all over. And while I love teaching business, this is my true passion, teaching people how to make delicious, nutritious food. So what I have here is, the thing about this recipe is it's great for parties because it's better if you make it 2 days ahead of time. The longer it sits, the better it is. The flavors marry. So what I have here is, I'm going to show you, is about 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs. You can use breast, but thighs are better because they're juicier, they don't dry out. The trouble with thighs is they have a lot of fat in them. So I'm a little obsessive. I was up till 1 o'clock last night trying to get all the fat out. You can certainly use that part of the chicken, the white fatty parts, but not for the chicken tikka because you don't like, the fat in a stewy dish. Okay, so there's 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs, most of the fat cut out. We're going to poke it. Get all your aggression out. The bigger the fork, the better. So we're going to poke it really hard all over. That's so the marinade can seep in, right? We're going to poke. That's a good way to get your aggression out. Okay, and then we're going to marinate it. So it's best to do it overnight. But of course, in class, we don't have time. This is going to be really compressed. So we'll do it for about maybe half an hour. Okay, so to this pan, right, I'm going to add a cup of yogurt. Not Greek yogurt, plain unflavored yogurt. Right, I'm going to, hold on, stir that. I found an amazing use. This is an egg poacher. I've never poached an egg in my life, but I was so thrilled to use it. I use it like a little compartment. So I have my garlic, my ginger, my cilantro in these little compartments. So I'm so glad I found a use for this. Okay, so over here, I did this a little bit ahead of time, although we'd never finish. This is 2 cloves of minced garlic, finely minced. That goes in. A tablespoon of minced fresh ginger. That goes in. Right, so we have the yogurt, the ginger, the garlic, and a tiny bit of this wonder spice, turmeric. So a little goes a long way, so maybe a half teaspoon of turmeric. Okay, so now that's the marinade, that's it, right, these things, and we're gonna let this hang out and do its thing, the chicken. Let it just hang out for a while, and here we go. Okay. Okay, so we're going to now make the sauce for the chicken tikka. I'm going to turn my. Everybody has a pan they can't live without. This is mine. I call it the workhorse. I adore this pan. I use it 4 times a day. When my daughter, one of my kids was young, she thought I'm referring to her. She said, Mom, I'm not the workhorse. I said, no, not you. The pan is the workhorse. I love this. Okay, so this is, we're going to make the sauce in this for the chicken tikka. I'm going to put it on the stove. And I'm not very high tech, as you might have gathered. I have a friend, Chuhong, in town, and she's my tech support. She set up a second camera so that you can actually look inside the pot while I cook. I'm so excited for that. Okay, so we're gonna let that heat up. And we're going to 2 tablespoons unsalted butter, right? And then a little oil to cook the onions. I also have here, so I chopped these onions ahead of time. This is for the sauce. These are rough chopped. You don't have to finely chop it because it's going to be pureed in the food processor for the sauce. Right. So I also have 2 garlics. Okay. So I have, since my friends know I love to cook, I have so many garlic presses, never use them. What I think the best way to do is get a knife, smash it. I love doing that. You can get all your, again, another way of getting all your aggression. So smash it. And then, again, I'm going to rough chop these because it's going to be pureed, right? So it doesn't have to be finely chopped. I'm going to add it to the platter. Okay, and smash again. That's so satisfying. Here we go. Okay, here we go. And then ginger. I'm going to show you a little trick. You might know this, you might not, but you don't have to get a preparing knife. You can actually peel ginger with a spoon. People who don't know this trick get so excited. Okay, so I'm peeling it with a spoon. Right, you just peel the ginger. And again, just rough chopped because it's going to be pureed. Okay, right there. And here we go. Okay, so we've got our garlic, our ginger, and our onion. 2 spoons of butter. I'm going to put the butter in there and melt it. And butter. Julia Child, as you know, the famous Julia Child, my hero, she worked and lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She used to shop at Cardullo's and Savignor. And of course, Julia's famous thing was, everything's better with butter, right? Her famous saying. Julia also said to taste as you cook, as you go along. Some say taste so much, I'm not hungry for dinner. And she also said, words of wisdom, if something has to go wrong in the kitchen, it'll go wrong. So right now, the tech stuff, right? So, okay, so Julia, we also know now that butter is actually good for us, especially grass-fed butter compared to the horrible stick margarine. So I have a friend who is completely clueless. She does not cook at all. And she said to me, how can the butter be grass-fed? I said, no, not the butter. The cows are grass-fed. She's totally clueless, right? So, but anyway, grass-fed butter is good for us. We're melting it there. I'm going to add some canola oil. So cooking can be really flexible, but with Indian cooking, there's certain rules with South Asian cooking. You can't use olive oil. It's canola oil, right? Because olive oil has a different flavor. We're going to use cilantro, not parsley or basil. This is the crowning glory of all South Asian cuisine. Also Mexican food. And mustard oil. Let me show you the mustard oil. We're going to use this for a chopping, mustard oil. So certain kinds of oils. I'll show you chilies. We're going to use Indian chilies, not Mexican chilies. So there's certain rules that you have to follow. Okay, so once that heats up, put this in. So those are cooking. So those onions are going to cook for at least 20 minutes or so. If you ever see an Indian recipe or a cookbook that says cook the onions for 5 minutes, they're lying. It takes much longer. They just don't want to scare you at how long it takes. The longer it cooks, the better the flavor, the deeper the flavor, right? So these onions should cook for at least 20, 25 minutes. Maybe we'll shorten it if we have less time in class. Just slightly getting, sizzling slightly. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cook this for about 15, 20 minutes. We're going to add the garlic and ginger and spices. And I'll show you what spices we're going to add. What I love about this cuisine is it's not just delicious, but it's also super healthy. All those spices are so, so good for you. Turmeric, for example, it's now the darling of the spice world. We've all heard of golden latte, turmeric milk, red golden tea. We've been using it for thousands of years. It's very healing. For example, brides in South Asia, just before they get married, they're bathed in turmeric water. When kids have tummy aches, we rub turmeric paste on their tummies. It's got many healing properties, right? And like I said, now it's become the darling of the spice world here. Okay, so turmeric is so healing. Ginger, garlic. So as I said, I'll give you health tips along the way. So garlic has all these amazing properties, but apparently if you leave it out at room temp for at least 10 minutes, it enhances all the properties. It gets much better, right? All the properties of it. Okay. There we go. We're going to add tomato. Now, tomatoes sometimes in winter are not that great. For the salad, we'll use fresh tomatoes, Campari from Mexico. The box says simply delicious, but they're not always available. So for curries and stews, can you guys see this? Homie? This is, so they say you shouldn't eat canned food, right? Because of BPA, but it's so hard not to open a can of chickpeas or black beans for dinner. But what you shouldn't use are canned tomatoes. Because unless the can says BPA free, because tomatoes are so acidic, all the chemical leaches into the can, which is really bad for you. Okay, so I'm sure some of you have seen this product, Homie, made in Italy, grown in Italy. It actually says made in Italy. I love it. I'm obsessed with this. No sugar, no salt, just tomato. You get it strained, chopped, fabulous product. It disappeared during COVID. I couldn't find it, and I panicked because I literally cannot live without this product. So when it came back, I wanted to buy a ton, but I didn't want to be like the toilet paper hoarders. Remember during COVID, people hoarded toilet paper? I didn't want to do that. So I bought 5 boxes. Guess what? 2 weeks ago, it disappeared again. And I panicked. So when it came back, this time I bought 10 boxes. So this is from my precious stash. I got one of the 10 boxes. But hopefully it won't disappear again. If it does, I'll have to buy more. But really, I'll have to hoard it because I cannot live without this. Okay, so 2 cups of this beautiful Homie. Like I said, it goes so well for a long cooking, deep stews and curries. Okay, let's check our onions. This is cilantro.
Okay.
It's got 3 names, confusing. Cilantro, Chinese parsley, and fresh coriander. The crowning glory, no substitute. If you don't have it, don't use it. You cannot use parsley or basil. Well, you can, but it just won't be the same. Okay, so I want to show you, if you don't want to add more oil or butter to the pan, you can always add water. Of course, for a party, you can be indulgent and add more butter or oil, but if it's for your family, you can just add water. As long as you start with oil, and the onions will just absorb the water. I'll show you. I'm going to add half a cup of water. Okay. We're just going to just let that keep cooking. We have the tomatoes ready. There we go. So cilantro is a very, what's the word? Controversial herb. Many people can't stand it. Not many people, some people, they say it tastes like soap, right? And they're not being picky. It's a physiological thing. It tastes like soap to them. I cannot live without it. Another thing, many things I can't live without. So I taught many workshops at the gorgeous Boston Public Market to the trustees of reservations. And I taught Nepali dumplings, right? And in that class, we use a ton of this. It goes in the filling, in the dumplings, it goes in the achar, the chutney. 3 huge piles. So you can see how the onions are getting nice and brown and caramelized. Oh God, that smell. I wish I had smell-o-vision. I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. You know, the onions caramelizing. There we go. Okay. So, basmati rice. So we're going to make a beautiful saffron nut pulao. This is a recipe from the palaces of India, North India. Usually rice is made with water, right? But we're going to add milk to this. So it gets nice and creamy. It's got a ton of amazing things in it. We're going to add saffron and cardamom, cinnamon, onions, raisins, almonds. It's a beautiful, gorgeous rice. So again, I don't know why recipe books never tell you this, or even the back of rice packages. Basmati rice has to be soaked, okay, for a minimum of 20 minutes, even longer is better, right? Because it makes it softer, it cooks faster. I've had so many students. I teach many students. I have a lot of classes that I teach in my house, along with the kids at Hayden Rec Center. And so many people say, oh, no wonder my rice doesn't turn out well. You have to soak it. So let me show you. I used to get my rice from Trader Joe's, basmati rice. You can use brown or white. This is white basmati. They didn't have it last time. So I went to the Indian store and look at this gorgeous, huge, 10 pounds. I thought, how would I ever finish it? But I have so many classes that it's almost gone. And it comes with this gorgeous zipper. It's got a huge, beautiful zipper, which I can't open now. But, and rice lasts, it doesn't get spoiled, it lasts a long time. So this is gorgeous from the Indian store. This brand is good. Or you can get it from Trader Joe's, 3-pound bags. Right, so over there. Okay, so I've got 1.5 cups of rice. Okay, so we're gonna soak the rice in 2 cups of water. We're gonna add milk later on. So don't worry about remembering things, writing it down. You'll get all the recipes. Okay, so we're gonna let our beautiful rice just hang out. It's beautiful. It smells very nutty and delicious. Hold on, let me add more water to the pan because the onions are starting to stick. Okay, so we're just going to keep letting them cook, and then we'll add spices and the tomato. That's soft, right, for the chicken. So I'm a rice snob. I'm from Nepal. I have 6 kinds of rice in my closet. You kind of have to have the right kind of rice. My kids are so spoiled. If I make an Indian curry and I happen to have jasmine rice in the fridge, they won't eat it. Because jasmine rice goes with East Asian food, like Chinese, Korean, Thai. Indian and Nepali food, basmati, from the foothills of the Himalayas. Nutty, delicious. Oh my God, smells amazing. Okay, so we're gonna just put that aside, let it hang out and, you know, soak. Okay, so now we're gonna add spices to the onions. I'll add the ginger and garlic first. That was rough chopped, right? The ginger and garlic. We're gonna add that. Oh God, it smells so good. Okay, and we are going to add a ton of spices. I'll show you. We have coriander. So you can go on Amazon and buy a spice dabba. Dabba means box. It's really pretty. It's like a round steel container and it's got 7 little compartments, very cute. People put their spices in there. I use spices. I use a ton of spices because I teach so many classes that I just put mine in big spaghetti jars, right? The more the better. Okay, so we're going to add, this is coriander powder. It's the seed of this coriander leaf, right? So we're going to add a heaping teaspoon into the onions. Let's do a little bit more. You can always add as much or as little as you like. Cooking is not about following recipes blindly. It's you can experiment. You like garlic, add more. You don't like tomatoes, add less, right? You can adjust it. We're going to add chili powder. This is not Mexican chili powder, Indian chili powder, different flavor profile. Okay, we're going to add, I like it nice and spicy. And since I'm going to eat this at home, we're going to put a whole teaspoon in there. Come on. Okay, there we go. And we're going to add, let's see. Okay, we're going to add that. We're going to add some salt. Let me get the salt right here. Okay, so this is kosher salt. Famous chefs like to use it, so I like to use it. The best brand is, I'll show you. Oh, I can't open my closet because I'm going to knock over the phone. I can't do that. The best brand is Diamond Crystal Salt. It's a huge purple box, Diamond. That's a really good brand. So it's less salty, and apparently it's better for you. It's got more minerals. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add, hold on. Okay, we're going to add some cumin. So we're going to add some cumin powder to the chicken. Some cumin powder, and we're just going to let that cook for a little longer. Let's move this aside. We're going to add this later on, garam masala, but I'll show you. We're going to add it later on. We can do this. Okay, there we go. So I usually teach this class in my house. We make seven items. It's a 3-hour class, 3.5 hours. So today's going to be a bit challenging because this is an hour and a half and we're making 3 dishes. So I make a schedule. Usually I don't because I know exactly how it works. But since it's half the time, right, I actually made a schedule. Okay. So I think we're doing just for the tomatoes. We're right on target. Okay. 7:30. I'm going to add the tomatoes. The onions have been cooking for about 15 minutes. If you have time, the longer the better. 25, 30 is even better. So the 2 cups of pomi go inside the onions. I love that sound. That sizzling sound. It's like music to my ears. And we're also going to add a cup of water, right, to the pan. Okay, so in there we have our onions, ginger, garlic, turmeric, salt, chili, cumin, coriander, tomatoes, and water. And we're not going to add more stuff later on. So we're just going to cover it. What I love is from Bed Bath & Beyond. It doesn't clog ever. You can put any oil you want. So I'm going to spray through a rack. I'm going to put the chicken on a rack. Like just a rack like that. On top of a tray so to catch all the juices. And okay, so our chicken, that's been marinating for, I don't know, 20 minutes, but like I said, overnight's been better. With all that marinade, I'm just going to pour it on here. So in summer, you can grill the chicken, but in winter, we're going to broil it, but not fully cook it. We're just going to boil it so it's slightly charred on both sides. Okay. Here we go. My broiler takes 3 or 4 minutes. Yours might take longer or shorter. Okay. There we go. So you see with the marinade, I just spread all the chicken out. There you go. I'll just spread it out there. So, okay, let's get rid of this. I'm going to set the chicken aside for a few minutes. We're going to start boiling it. This here. I'm going to check my sauce. Okay, so they say you shouldn't get things from Amazon, right? Because Jeff Bezos is not the nicest person, but it's so hard to resist Amazon. These came on my doorstep a few months ago. I love them. High heat. I use them in the kitchen. It's so hard to avoid Amazon, right? To not get stuff. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's bubbling away beautifully. It's looking nice and rich and red, the color. Let's do this over here. And we're soaking our rice. We're going to start the raita. So I'm sure a lot of you have had Indian food, right? Like I said, so popular right here in town. Royal Indian Bistro serves a really nice chicken tikka masala. But I think a small portion is $22, $23. So as it says, you can ditch the takeout menu. Now you can make it at home. So raita is always served as a cooling side, right? Many cultures have a yogurt dish, like the Greeks have tzatziki sauce. A raita is similar with cucumber, but different spices. So we're going to do the raita now. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick about this cucumber. So over here, so this cucumber is not bitter because it's an English cucumber, right? But if you use a regular cucumber, it's sometimes very bitter. So I'll show you a little trick. What you do is You cut the top off of the cucumber. I already cut, the pointy part. I cut that off already. And you rub it back and forth, right? You rub it back and forth, and you might see white froth coming out. That's the bitter part. And that comes out pretty often with regular cucumbers, right? So you do this. So Nepal and India are lands of traditions and ancient rituals because they're such ancient cultures. So Nepal, we have a little ritual. As we do this, we say a little poem. The poem is Mito Mito A, Tito Tito Ja, which means let the sweetness seep in and the bitterness seep out. It's like a metaphor for life, but it doesn't end there. So if somebody's pregnant, okay, I cut the top off. If the pointy part shows up, they're gonna have a girl. If it's the opposite side, they're gonna have a boy. So all these old, even with the cutting of cucumber, we have all these rituals and traditions, right? So there's so many traditions surrounding food and the sharing of food. And I'll tell you a little bit later about some really interesting customs about the sharing and the eating of food. Okay, so that's a cucumber. But again, like I said, you don't have to do that with the English cucumber because they're not bitter. Okay, so I'm going to, so we have this dish here for the raita. Again, like I said, all these rules, it sounds like such a strict cuisine, but it's, it's just a flavor profile. Not Greek yogurt, regular plain yogurt, right? Because Greek yogurt is just a different flavor. So regular unsweetened yogurt. This is low-fat yogurt. You can use full fat. What some people like to do, they use low fat and then they add some sour cream to give it a rich, creamy taste. So I'm going to add some sour cream to it. Oh. Okay, you can cut. Some people like to grate their cucumber. I don't like to do that because you lose a lot of the juice. I'm just going to cut it in small pieces. You see my board? You can, right? Okay. So I have to tell you these. I have these really sharp purple knives, very pretty. My boss at Hayden Rec Center, she bought these for the kids, and I said, Berta, these are way, way too sharp for the kids. The kids who are 9 and older fight over these. We had to buy more. The first day we got them, I kept saying to the kids, be careful, watch your fingers. Guess who cut their finger? I did, not the kids. I cut my finger. It was so funny. As I said, I made the chicken tikka with the kids last week, the kids who are 4th and 5th grade, international delights. These kids are such little gourmands. It's so much fun teaching them right here at the Hayden Rec Center. 3 to 5-year-olds are called tiny chefs, adorable. They're, you have a little counter for them. So 3.5-year-old boy says to me, Miss S, are those strawberries organic? Because organic's better for you. 3.5. They're such little gourmands. I love teaching them. It's so much fun. So anyway, we made the chicken tikka and they loved it. They've been clamoring for me to make it, for us to make it. Tomorrow we're making Korean beef. They just love it. Okay, so I have a cucumber in there and the sour cream. And later on, we're going to make the gorgeous topping for this raita. It's called tarka, and it's a technique that you can use for any cuisine. Like if you have a huge bowl of pasta, just saute some onions and bell peppers and pour it right on top. So it's just a pretty flavorful topping, right? The tarka, and we'll make a beautiful topping for that. And my soul too. Okay, we'll put that aside, right? And we'll make the topping later on. Go. Let's move all the stuff from here. Okay, here we go. Let us check our beautiful sauce. You see that, right? It's got a rich red, beautiful deep red color. Continue to let that cook. Okay, I'm going to put the rice on. So now this is really important. The rice that I soaked it in, we have to save that water. That's the water we cook it in. It's much less now. It was 2 cups of water before. It's much less now because the rice has absorbed the water. Very, very important to save that water, right? So I'm going to strain it. I usually use, this is an Indian karai. It looks like a wok. You can cook veggies and stuff in it. It's a great dish. I'm going to strain the rice into there with this strainer. Make sure the holes are not so big that the rice falls through, right? It's a regular strainer. I'm going to strain the rice. and save that water. That water is really important. Okay, I'm going to use my hands to get all the rice out. Ina Garten, another one of my favorite people, cooking people, she always says, I love what she says, hands are the best tools in the kitchen as long as they're super, super clean, right? So I wash my hands multiple times, I guess, as we all have done during COVID. Okay, I'm going to get all the rice out from this pan. Okay, so the rice is in this strainer, right? Over here, and I've got the water, that precious water saved. That's the water we're going to cook it in. We don't throw that out. We don't add more water. That's just the water. Soaking water is what we cook it in. Here we go. Okay. Hold on. Let me just move this to the side. You can, because the chicken, the sauce is just simmering, right? The sauce for the chicken. Put that on the back. Okay. There we go. Voila. Okay. In this pan, we're going to do that. Okay, so this is the pan we're going to cook the rice in. But rice, you can make plain steamed rice, just water and salt and rice. Or we're making pulao, saffron, not pulao. Pulao, some people call it pilaf in the Middle East. Pulao just means that you flavor the rice. You saute it first with onions or spices. You let it get a little brown for a couple minutes and then add the water, right? That's the difference between plain steamed rice and pulao. Okay, so make sure that's on. Yeah. There we go. Okay, once that dries, I'm going to add a little oil. Again, a little butter. Julia would be very happy, Julia child. A little bit of butter. And this makes a lot of rice. So it's a cup and a half of rice. So it makes 4.5 cups of cooked rice. And you can obviously scale it up or down, right? Make more or less. So you get a paper towel. Okay. Okay, so we flop in a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to spray some oil in there with my lovely spray. Okay, so then here's all the stuff I have for the rice. Half a cup of chopped onion. I just thinly sliced it. And I did it ahead of time because, as I said, we'd never finish otherwise. Okay. For my cooking classes that I teach in my house, I like to give people more bang for their buck. So it's with a company called Cozy Meal in California. Other chefs make 2 or 4 things. I always make 7 or 8 things. I often run late, but everybody's okay with that. It's like for a dinner party. Instead of 4 things, I make 10 things and I stress myself out, right? I always overdo it. Okay, so this time I cut things ahead of time. For the rice, we're going to add saffron, cinnamon, raisins, cardamom. Cardamom is used in Scandinavian desserts, so we use it for sweet and savory. You can use the pods or powder. This is cardamom powder. I add it to my morning tea. So this is the rice, we're going to use it, and then we also make a dessert. Not in this class, you won't have time, but Indian rice pudding, and we add this as well. Okay, so the butter is bubbling away. I'm going to add the onions. The sauce is getting really thick, so I'm going to add another half cup of water to the sauce for the chicken tikka masala. I'm going to add another half cup of water. Okay, let it just cook. Okay, the sauce should be done in about 10 minutes because we only have about 10 minutes. But normally I like to cook it. The onions for 20 minutes, and once you add the tomato for another 30 to 40 minutes. So the whole sauce takes about an hour to cook, right? And then when it's totally done, we're going to puree it and then add the partially cooked chicken to the sauce with a couple of other things. Okay, so then we'll soak that, right? And the onions, now we're going to add our rice to the onions, right? The pulao. Okay, then all this other stuff. Raisins, a 1/4 cup of raisins, 2 sticks of cinnamon. Go in there. We're going to add half a teaspoon of cardamom powder. If I can get it out. Half a teaspoon of that. Some salt, a teaspoon and a half of kosher salt. Or actually a teaspoon. I'm just going to bring it up to a boil. And for a tight seal, I want a really tight seal, I'm going to put some oil on top. Once it boils, I'm going to put foil and then the cover to give it a really tight seal. Okay, this right here. Let it come to boil. Okay, that chicken, I keep talking about boiling the chicken. Let me put my broiler on. As you know, saffron is the most expensive spice in the world. A pound can go for up to $5,000. I got this from the Indian store. I sometimes get it from Trader Joe's. This is from the Indian store. It came in this beautiful little box with a gold ribbon all over it, very pretty. I did the math. This one was about $700 a pound. So saffron is anti-anxiety and anti-depression, right? So I had a guy here last week, and I told him I'm going to steal his joke. He said, well, then you get anxious and depressed again because you waste all your money on it. You spend all your money on the saffron. You get anxious and depressed again. I thought it was funny. I told him I'll steal that joke. Okay, so that's the saffron, right? It's just a teaspoon. Some people don't like to use it because it's expensive, so they just use turmeric instead. But there's nothing like saffron. The smell, the aroma, the fragrance. It's just a gorgeous spice. Okay, so. Okay, the rice is about to boil. So I think we might have time to make a salad. It said 3 things, but I think we'll have time to chop a salad. I'll show you how. The broiler is on. I'm going to put the chicken in. Okay, so put the chicken in. Okay, so my rice started boiling. I put it on low and I covered it with the foil and the lid. Okay, so okay, I'm going to stop the sauce now. I'll show you. Like I said, if we had more time, I would cook it for longer, another 10-15 minutes. Can you see that? It's hot, hot, hot. Look at that beautiful, can you all see that? Beautiful, gorgeous, deep, rich red color. That smells amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna let that cool for a little bit and then puree it. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Oh, let me get up. Okay, let's get this out of the way. For the topping. So the rice, the chicken's boiling, the sauce is cooling, the rice is cooking, right? So for the topping, we talk about the raita, the yogurt. We're going to make a beautiful topping. For achars, chutneys, and toppings, we use mustard oil. This, I wish you could smell it. It smells so gorgeously pungent. We use a lot of mustard. Mustard greens, mustard seeds, mustard oil. The trouble is, if you look at it, it says for external use only. That means you massage your head with it, your hair with it, right? It's fine to eat. We've been eating it for thousands of years. We're still alive and kicking, right? It's totally fine. I've taught hundreds of students. They're all okay with it. The only reason they say that external use only, they wanted to bypass the FDA regulations, right? Bypass all the red tape and bureaucracy. That's why it says that. But like I said, we've been eating it for thousands of years. If you're not comfortable using it, they have a substitute. They have pretend mustard oil. This is the real deal. This is so, so good. And you don't use a huge amount. You just use 1 or 2 spoons for chutneys, achars, and toppings, right? When I cook with canola oil, you know, when you need more oil. Oh, there's Alexa. Perfect. Okay, I want to show you what the chicken looks like. Alexa, thank you, you're done. I'm sure, shut up.
I don't know that.
Okay, so can you see the chicken? It's partially cooked, slightly charred, not fully cooked, right? I just cooked it for 3 minutes. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to flip the chicken pieces over. So we're going to broil the second side, right? So we're going to flip. There we go. I just flipped all the pieces over. I'm going to do it back in the boiler. And this time, I'll just remember 3 minutes. There we go. Voila. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm going to remember 3 minutes. So let's make the topping for the raita. We are going to put a little bit of the mustard oil in a little fry pan. You might not be able to see because the rice is cooking on the front burner, but I'll show you. I'll just show it you this way, right? This is a little fry pan. I'm gonna heat that up. Okay, so we're going to add topping, gorgeous dried red chilies. This is a topping for the yogurt, right? The pretty topping that I talked about. Some chilies. We're gonna add a tiny bit of red chili powder, a tiny bit of turmeric, some cilantro, and cumin seeds. Let's get the cumin seeds. Okay, I shouldn't forget about my chicken. Some cumin seeds, right? They smell so smoky is the word, smoky and delicious. Again, very common in Middle Eastern, South Asian, and Mexican food. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so let's check. Okay, I think actually the chicken's done. It only took 2 minutes. Let me just take it out before we do the chopping. Hold on. Okay, so again, slightly charred on the second side, right? Just slightly charred. And all those juices, we're going to use all that marinated juice that's dropped onto the pan below. I'll put this aside right here. Let me see. Actually, let me get a Tibet. We do Tibet. We'll let it sit by the side. Okay, the chicken right here. Okay, boiler goes off. Okay, there you go. Okay, rice will take, so it takes about, once you soak the rice, and I put it on low and covered it, it takes about 10 to 12 minutes. You can always open the pan and check. Recipes will often say, don't open the rice. That's not true. You can certainly open the rice. Take out a few grains, see if it's cooked, if not, you add, put it for 5 more minutes. Okay, so the chicken's out. So we're going to, I'm going to put a tablespoon of this beautiful, gorgeous mustard oil in this pan. And when it heats up, like I said, we're going to add just a tiny bit, like literally, this is a half teaspoon, a quarter teaspoon of cumin, quarter teaspoon of chili, a teaspoon of this, and cook it for about 60 seconds. And I'll pour it over this, and I'll show you how we pour it over. Okay, come on. I'll show you how gorgeous the rice looks. Okay. And I'll show you when I pour the topping on top of the yogurt. Come on, heat up. Hold on. It's taking a while. Okay, so let's put this over here. Here we go. Okay. Just a couple more seconds, and then it's going to be heated up. Put this away. Put this away. There we go. Okay, it's warming up. I want everything to sizzle when I add it. Okay, so we have this. I'm going to add the chili powder, the turmeric. Come on. The 2 dried chilies, and a little bit of the ubiquitous cilantro. Okay, so that's going to sizzle for. So this is what it looks like, right? And we're going to pour this all over the yogurt. I just poured that beautiful topping all over the yogurt. It is so gorgeous. Okay. Look at that. I'm going to check the rice. Let's go check the rice. Hold on. Or fork. Gorgeous, gorgeous yellow golden color with the saffron. Okay, so I'm gonna. How do you know it's cooked? You taste it. Like Julia said, right? Taste as you go along. Sometimes I taste so much that I'm not hungry for dinner anymore. I keep tasting and tasting. So I'm gonna taste this. It's done. Let's see. Let me move. Okay, so when the sauce cools a little bit, I'm going to puree it in the food processor, right? And we're going to put it back in the pan, add the chicken, add a few more things. So the rice is done. Okay, we're going to make a little salad. So with Indian food, it's not course by course. You don't eat the salad first like European food. You eat everything together. The rice, the chicken, the raita, the salad, all mixed up together. A veggie, we don't have time to make a veggie, but you add the veggie, add everything together, mix it up together, right? It's all eaten together. So this salad, it's really simple. We're gonna, actually, I don't even have to chop it. I'll just tell you. Tomatoes, and these are the gorgeous Campari tomatoes, right? Mexican, they're always good year round. You get a knife for this. Okay, so I'm just gonna rough chop them. So you can cut them any size you want. It's for salad, right? Think of it as a salad. Tomatoes, we have beautiful radishes. Okay, just gonna rough chop them, but you can chop them any way you want. Okay, here we go. I'm just waiting for the sauce to cool down a little bit so we can puree it. We've got onion. We're gonna add onion to the salad. White onion. Okay, so I've got onions, radishes, tomatoes, some cucumber chopped up, and the surprising ingredient in this is peanuts. I'm not going to do it now. So unsalted peanuts, or actually these are salted, and you can put less salt. So a cup of peanuts, regular peanuts. You peel them, rough chop them, add them to the salad. So delicious, right? So a cup of peanuts, some cucumber, and there we go. And of course, a healthy dose of cilantro, nice sprinkle of cilantro, and then some salt, some black pepper. So let's talk. A lot of people put chopped chilies in salad or in the food, right? I'll talk about chilies. So these are, I'm not sure what they are. They're Indian chilies. You go to any Indian store, there are huge bins of chilies, and you just pick up what you want. You can pick up 2, you can get 10, whatever you want. Massive bins. I think they're called Serrano. If you can't go to the Indian store, a good substitute is Thai chili, which you get everywhere, market basket, right? Thai bird's eye chili. So let's talk about chilies. These jalapeno, the hot, the Scoville scale, right? It rates the hotness of chilies. Jalapeno, I think, is about 2,000 units on the Scoville scale. This, I believe, is 8 to 10,000. A lot of Nepalis and Indians will eat a bite of food, a bite of chili, a bite of food, a bite of chili. I cannot do that. And then the hottest chili in the world, well, it used to be, is the Indian ghost pepper, Bhut Jolokia. That registers 1 million units on the Scoville scale. Can you imagine 1 million units? So this, again, you cannot substitute the jalapeno. I mean, you really need these because of flavor, right? This is the perfect flavor. So we have a teaspoon of lemon juice in there and cilantro, and that you'd add the peanuts, and that's our gorgeous salad, which is eaten with everything else. Okay, we'll put that aside. Oh yes, I said earlier, my friends and family are watching. Some friends, I don't know, my friend Nancy Shepherd's watching, but she made this bowl. Isn't that gorgeous? At Mud Flats in Somerville, I believe. She made it. She sells it at the Lexington Arts and Crafts Society, her pottery, and I bought it there. A plug for my friend Nancy. Okay, there we go. I'm going to puree. Just give me a couple minutes. I'm going to puree the sauce in my food processor. I'm going to add some water to get all the sauce out from the food processor. Add some water. And gorgeous. So I'm going to turn the stove back on. Okay, let's heat that up. We're going to add the chicken back. We have the salad put away. We've got the raita. Okay, so the sauce is heating up. I'm going to add this chicken to the sauce, right? The grilled chicken. Okay, I'm just going to get it all out. Tricky, some of it's sticking. I did spray the tray, but it's sticking a little bit. Here we go. Okay. There we go, come on. Okay, I've got a few stray pieces here. Okay, so the chicken's there. And I'm also gonna add the marinade. Like a lot of the juice of the chicken dripped onto the tray that I had underneath. I'm gonna add all that beautiful juice and all to the pot. Okay, right here. There we go. Okay. Okay, that's heating up. I'm gonna add let me see. Heat that up. I want that. So we're gonna cook the chicken for another 5 to 7 minutes in the sauce. And how do you know if it's cooked? You taste the piece. After it's cooked for about 7 minutes, because the pieces are so small, it's going to be cooked. But I still like to cut into a piece. Okay, we're going to add a cup of heavy cream. This is a little over 1.5 pounds of chicken, so it makes about 6 servings. A cup of heavy cream. That means everybody's getting a little over 2 tablespoons of cream. Not that bad. Restaurants put much more, trust me. So this is a healthier version of chicken tikka. If you wanted to add less cream, you could always do half cream, half evaporated milk. But trust me, it tastes much better with all cream. Okay, there we go. So a cup of cream. I'm gonna let that heat up. Okay, we're gonna add 2 more things. I'm gonna add the cream. We're gonna add dried fenugreek leaf. Fenugreek is a bitter green. This is the dried leaf of it. See, this is the box. When I send the recipes, I'll send all the good spice brands as well. So we're gonna add a tablespoon of this, the dried fenugreek leaves, available at the Indian store. And finally, we're going to add a teaspoon of garam masala. The British use curry powder. That's just that's incorrect. We never use curry powder. That was just, they wanted to make it convenient. You know, they put all the Indian spices together and they just lumped it together as curry powder. This is garam masala. It's always added at the end. It's warming spices. It's got cloves, cinnamon, a lot of warming spices. Right? Again, so good for you. Okay, so let the chicken cook for a few minutes. We're going to saute some almonds. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so while we went to chicken, I just wanted to tell you some really interesting customs about food and sharing food in Nepal and India. Again, like I said, ancient rituals. So you're never supposed to accept food on the first offer. If you're dying of thirst and somebody offers you a Coke, you're supposed to say, oh no, too much trouble. I don't want to trouble you. No. You're going to end up getting the damn Coke anyway, but you have to go through this whole ritual. So there's all these rituals and customs around food and the sharing of food, which, you know, ancient rituals, which we have to kind of follow, this whole social dance. So I was talking about Marjan Kamali, again, a plug for her. Her 2 books, Together Tea and Stationery Shop. One's being made into an HBO series, amazing book. She lives down the road. I'm sure a lot of you know her. I've heard her talk. She lives right in town. Okay, so my chicken's heating up. I'm gonna add this beautiful cup of cream to it. We're going to add a tablespoon of the peacock feathers. Hold on, I need a tablespoon. Here we go. Okay, just bring my fingers. Tablespoon of that. And a teaspoon of garam masala. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just going to, again, a teaspoon of butter. I'm going to saute a few almonds and we're going to pour that on top of the rice. And I'll plate the rice and show you how gorgeous it looks. Okay, I've got the almonds right here. Just regular, unsalted, raw almonds. I use flavored almonds, right? Just the regular almonds. You can use these. And just do that. Okay, I'm gonna plate the rice and show you how pretty it looks. I have all these nice big platters. Okay, so here's a huge platter. Oh my God, it smells amazing. You see that, the rice? Okay, so. Okay, so I wanted to show you. This goes really well with Indian food. Mango pickle. This is the kind of thing that's better store-bought. I've had friends say, oh, my grandmother made it, my mother made it. No, 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 this is the best brand. It's made by an Indian family in England. Patak's available even at Market Basket. Indian stores, obviously, but Market Basket. This is an acquired taste. I've got many friends hooked onto this. Some of my students in class, they finish the entire jar. But again, acquired taste. You mix it up with the food. So everything gets mixed up together. This is mild, medium. You can buy it mild, medium, spicy. But Patak, there are many brands. This is the best, Patak. Okay, so sauteed almonds go on top of the rice. So when I send the recipe, if you want to make the rice even more gorgeous, you can saute peaches and put them all around. Gorgeous, brilliant, orange color. I can't seem to find canned peaches, canned peach halves these days. So, okay, oh my God, how beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the chicken over. Can you see this? So if you want to make more of the dishes, sign up for my class. So, oh my God, look how gorgeous. This is the salad, and this is the raita, and I'm gonna bring the chicken. Okay, so let me get rid of this. And of course, a healthy dollop of mango pickle with it. There we go. Oh, gorgeous. Let me get a trivet, and I will show you the chicken. Get rid of this. There we go. Okay. Here's the chicken. Can you see it? Of course, obviously add some cilantro on top. Like I said, it's the crowning glory of most South Asian dishes. And then I'm going to drizzle. I said 1 cup of cream, I lied. I'm going to drizzle 1 more tablespoon, a teaspoon maybe of cream on top. Okay, so there's the chicken. I'll taste it, just like Julia said. Okay, you get a whole. Okay. You better taste, taste, taste. Okay. So good. So delicious, if I say so myself. So, oh good. I didn't run late. Like I said, I usually run late. Perfect. So we made 4 dishes. I hope you all will try these dishes at home. They're so delicious, so easy. And like I said, it's great for party because the chicken tastes better if you make it 2 days ahead of time. Even 1 day, but 2 days is even better. It freezes beautifully. I love that. Chicken freezes. Obviously, these dishes don't freeze, right? The salad, the raita, and the rice. Well, actually, the rice does freeze. What am I saying? You can freeze the rice too. It's better fresh, but in a pinch, you can freeze it. The chicken freezes beautifully, and it's better when made ahead. Okay, so there we have this gorgeous aromatic dinner. I'm looking forward to it. I wish you all could join me.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shailini. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.